Good evening. This is Maestro Cotella with a Dawn of War 2 Retribution Elite Modcast. Today we have a 3v3 faction war. We've got Chaos versus Space Marines on Argus Desert Gate. Our first player today is Icarium, playing as the Chaos Lord. The Chaos Lord is a tanky melee hero who wears Terminator armor. He starts out with a combi bolter, and in this case a power sword. A level 60 Chaos Lord would have a demon sword. Not terribly powerful to start out in terms of damage output, but he just puts on a lot of pressure because he's so tanky and he ties things up. Later on, he can become much more powerful with damage output if you get like an upgraded weapon. He can also Let the Galaxy Burn, which is a ranged spell that does a lot of great area of effect damage. Next up, we've got Holyoke as another Chaos Lord. And then finally for the Chaos team, we've got Bashful Pwny as Sindri, Trollface, Chaos Sorcerer. The Chaos Sorcerer is a spellcasting Chaos hero, not nearly as much of a fighter as that Chaos Lord. However, he can cast a lot of spells. He's got Doom Bolts, which is a long-range area of effect damage spell. He can also teleport, and he's got spells for control and manipulation. On the other team, representing the Space Marines, first of all, we've got Weekend Offender. That's an interesting name. I wonder what that means. I feel like it has something to do with like crime and misdemeanors and stuff. But anyway, he is playing as the Techmarine. The Techmarine is a Space Marine ranged hero. He's got a gun for every occasion. Very powerful in teams with his ability to support vehicles with repairs as well as armies with relay beacons and turrets. Next up, we've got the 33rd playing as the Force Commander. This is a tanky melee hero. He's just wearing power armor. He can tie things up. He can get Power Fist and Thunder Hammers later on for super damage and disruption. And he can also buff friendly units with Battle Cry. And then finally, we've got Nicotine for You playing as the Space Marine Apothecary. Not quite as much of a fighter as most of these heroes that we've been talking about, but he's very good at supporting units with heals and support, and yeah. Looks like Chaos taking a bit of an early lead in terms of just the way engagements have been going. Heretics moving forward, getting into melee with Tactical Marines. Tactical Marines should not let the Heretics get that close. Two very unnecessary TAC model losses that I feel like should not have happened. Pretty much as soon as those TAC models saw all those Heretics approaching, they should have just retreated out of there. Even though Tactical Marines are better in melee than most other ranged units, you still do not want to leave them in against a dedicated melee unit unless they have some kind of serious support, like another ranged unit to provide range fire support or an Apothecary to provide heals. And of course, we do have an Apothecary player, but he wasn't there. Now it looks like both Chaos Lords are. It looks like Chaos Lords are in the top as well as the middle lane, so I feel like that's going to be very powerful. Having two Chaos Lords pushing together is a lot of pressure to put on for Chaos. Our Sorcerer, meanwhile, is in the bottom resource lane and actually goes down. Sorcerer really does not put on the same pressure that a Chaos Lord does. The Chaos Lord pushes forward and ties things up. The Sorcerer hangs back, hiding in the bushes with his Heretics, and then shoots out Doom Bolts to do massive damage. Very differently played, despite being the same army. They're just very differently played. Chaos Lord definitely a little bit stronger in the early game. Alright, Space Marines pushing back. We've even got some scouts from the 33rd capturing the natural VP. They're at a bit of a VP deficit because the Chaos team has had the contested VP. Meanwhile, we've got a flanking Force Commander coming around. Pretty good flank. Just coming around, running in after a Havoc squad. That being said, I think what we'll see right here, might see some Doom Blast from the Heretics, which would be the smart choice, and then also some Focus Fire from the Chaos Space Marines. That Doom Blast needs to come up a little earlier, and then that would help the Havoc set up. Meanwhile, he just let the Havoc get tied up even further. That Havoc did not have to retreat. That should have been a Doom Blast from the Heretics. Doom Blast, even though it's not going to do that much damage to the Force Commander, you need to use that as a source of control. And then, although, I mean, there are two Space Marine players in this lane, but I feel like, I don't know who this was here. Probably Holyoke, maybe? Yeah, it's all his stuff. He got forced off a little unnecessarily there and a little prematurely. Meanwhile, Icarium, despite being the top lane player, is actually running around in the middle lane. Icarium went for a very early Havoc, or, well, I don't know how early it actually was, but he didn't get a second squad of Heretics. Meanwhile, both Icarium and Holyoke are floating major requisition, and I feel like somehow the Chaos Lord can do that. Sometimes he does that, I think in part because he's the one pushing forward and taking most of the damage, so usually usually Chaos Lord players don't tend to bleed a whole lot. I mean, they certainly can if they go for a lot of Heretic builds and if they lose models, but generally when you have the Chaos Lord pushing forward and he's the one tanking most of the damage, you're not actually bleeding that much. And although there have been times when I've heard about people have said that the Chaos economy isn't so strong, I feel like the Chaos Lord can potentially have a pretty strong economy. Now we've got all this Chaos stuff coming in for a bit of a flank. I'm afraid we might see some Purification Vials, but the Apothecary's taking a lot of Focus Fire, so now he doesn't have the energy to use Purification Vials. And again, we see the Heretic Worship used to move in to get the Chaos Lords into melee. And I mean, of course, the Worship only worked on Icarium's own Chaos Lord, and it didn't also work on Holyoke's. But I mean, just having both of these Chaos Lords go in, just everything's getting tied up, and there's so much pressure with these Chaos Lords. Chaos Lord, I think, classically one of the best heroes in the game, at least from what I've seen, certainly in retail. In retail, I would say, for most of retail, I would say he was the best hero in the game. I would say that changed a little bit in the last retail patch when Catachans were changed, and they were buffed unnecessarily. At that point, I would say the Lord General became the best hero in retail, but before that, the Chaos Lord. Still a very strong hero in Elite Mod. And again, just in part because of all the pressure he exerts early on. Anyway, we've got a Techmarine here. Actually has the Mastercrafted Bolter, and I think we saw that used on the Chaos Raptors. The Mastercrafted Bolter has the high-powered shot ability. That's just an ability. It does burst damage. I think it's maybe 180 damage piercing per shot. I don't remember. It's definitely pretty powerful. Just a high... It's almost like he gets his own sniper shot. Can usually bleed a model off of weaker squads, and it also suppress that target squad, so it can be used as a melee counter. And I mean, Space Marines generally, well, basically with the Techmarine you definitely get, and combined with all the other Space Marine options, there are definitely a lot of melee counters available to the Techmarine. Looks like everybody's going to Tier 2, and we've got a lot of players with a lot of Requisition in the bank. Icarium with 1,000 Requisition in the bank. Did not choose to get a second squad of Chaos Space Marines or Heretics. Holyoke, even himself, he got a second Heretic, and he's still got an extra 600 Requisition in the bank. So do the Space Marine players. They've all got around 600-700 Requisition. Pretty amazing. So they've got a lot of Requisition, although at the same time they don't have a ton of power. If we do see anything fast out of them in Tier 2, we might be seeing things like Blood Crushers or Razorbacks. It'll still be a little while before we see anything like a Dreadnought, although I'm sure inevitably one player will get a Dreadnought. Looks like Holyoke and Icarium are kind of fighting. They're not really fighting together at this point, and I think it's really going to cost them. Chaos Lord manages to tie up the Devastators, but I don't think there's really enough here for... Again, I think this is Icarium to take on all these things by himself. Oh man, he's getting all of his stuff disrupted by that Thunderhammer Force Commander. He's probably going to lose the Havoc. Actually, the Havoc's going to get out of there alive, but a very close call, and one Chaos Lord is down. Looks like that Chaos Lord had upgraded to Let the Galaxy Burn, which is interesting. I mean, it's certainly a very good ability. It's generally considered not as good against Space Marines because their squads are so much tougher, so they don't get hit quite as hard by Let the Galaxy Burn. That being said, it could still be very, very good against the Space Marines just because of the way they're blobbing up, and because Let the Galaxy Burn actually does cover a pretty large area. You can really and it disrupts, so you can knock down a whole army with it, to be honest. Even if they don't take that much damage, knocking down the whole army is big. I think it'd be really powerful if both Holyoke and Icarium got Let the Galaxy Burn. I think that'd be very powerful. So we've got some generators now fully going down for the Chaos team on this side. Chaos had the stronger start, but now they seem to be struggling a bit. They've still got the VP lead, but they do seem to be hurting in engagements. We did see that the red team has had the better coordination up top. Meanwhile, our Sorcerer is going back down here. He's upgraded with the Sword of Flame and the Vestments of the Warp. This is a pretty bread and butter play and a pretty basic play for the Sorcerer. Doombolts go in doing major damage. And, I mean, he's using that. He's using the Doombolts, which, it's weird because although the Sword of Flame and the Vestments of the Warp is a very bread and butter play for the Sorcerer, it's kind of at odds with the Doombolt play of the Sorcerer, since Doombolts require you to stay far away, whereas the teleporting involves teleporting in closer. Looks like a squad went down for Holyoke. Holyoke stayed in a purification rites, and or a purification vials rather, and he actually lost one of his heretic squads. Not that it would be that hard for him to replace a heretic squad, and it looks like this force commander is definitely going to go down. I don't know what he was still doing around there. Just stayed in there way too long. We've got some Tzeentch Chaos Space Marines for Icarium. Fantastic choice against Space Marines. I'd say, I mean, especially at this point with a Thunderhammer Force Commander and a bunch of Shotgun Scouts, Khorne Chaos Space Marines not going to be that great of a choice, especially the Shotgun Scouts would really deter Khorne Chaos Space Marines, and they would also get countered really, really hard by Tzeentch Chaos Space Marines. Tzeentch Chaos Space Marines are an extremely hard counter to Shotgun Scouts. The Tzeentch Chaos Space Marines will just do a ton of damage to them. And I mean, of course, the Shotgun Scouts just don't want to be in range of the Tzeentch Chaos Space Marines. But I mean, the attacks are going to lose to the Tzeentch Chaos Space Marines too. Wow, and we had a Plasma Cannon Devastator, and it just fully got wiped. And I don't know. I'm guessing that one belonged to the 33rd, but he just kind of didn't retreat out of there, and I don't know what happened. Anyway, this first Chaos Lord needs to go. He's going to go down, actually. So, overextended Chaos Lord. Unfortunately, although the Chaos Lord is very good, it does take a bit of... You do need to be a little bit careful about how far you overextend him, because he is slower, so there definitely is a risk of overextending him at times when it looked like you might not be overextending him. You need to actually retreat him slightly earlier than some other heroes because he is slower. I think this time we'll get out alive. So luckily there was not actual much of a loss by losing the Chaos Lord that time. In fact, one of the Chaos Lords even got a level. Yeah, Icarium's Chaos Lord probably, or he got a ton of experience from that. Meanwhile, down here, we've got a Khorne Dreadnought from Bashful Pwny, but Bashful Pwny also lost his Chaos Space Marine somehow. Now, the Khorne Dreadnought, you know, in a direct fight against the Space Marine Dreadnought, it would have an advantage. The stats, at least, are actually pretty much the same, except for the fact that the Blood Rage is going to tip things in favor of the Khorne Dreadnought. That being said, the Space Marine Dreadnought would have better support in the form of AV from other squads. Bloodletter's doing a huge amount of work, but they're about to get disrupted by that Force Commander with the Thunderhammer, and all of these things are in a lot of trouble. Assault Marines lost a few models. Bloodletters, meanwhile, going to get wiped as well. Bloodletters overextended themselves, too. Really just can't stick around in melee against that Thunderhammer Force Commander once he activates Battlecry. That special attack, it does... it's a 360 special attack, so it just disrupts everything around him. It's not directional like his other special attacks, and it tracks. So that means even if you run away from him and try to dodge it, you won't. As long as he starts the special attack, it'll connect. Which is very different. Most special attacks do not track. Most regular melee attacks do track. But, oh man, look at these attacks taking a huge amount of damage from these Tzeentch Chaos Space Marines. And Tzeentch Chaos Space Marines, also backed by Khorne Worship, is a very powerful tool just because of how quickly they can run in and just start unloading with all the damage that they do. And the damage potential for Tzeentch Chaos Space Marines is noticeably higher than that of Tactical Marines, even when the Tactical Marines get the Plasma Gun, because of the fact that the Chaos Space Marines, every single one of their models gets that Inferno Bolter, so they're all getting the benefits of that different damage type. Now, surprisingly, I actually feel it's surprising we don't see something like a missile launcher on Attack Squad, a Meltagun on the Techmarine, or the Blessing or the Orbs of the Omnissiah, because that would really give the Space Marine Dreadnought an edge over the Khorne Dreadnought. Right now, the Khorne Dreadnought has the advantage. Meanwhile, I mean, Bashful Pwny does not have those kinds of supplemental AV options that that Weekend Defender has, so I think he really should get something. I don't know what he's going to get, but we'll see. Could probably a missile attack. Meanwhile, now Bashful Pwny needs to be careful because he's about to get doubled. Actually, it looks like some of Holyoke's stuff is in the middle. Sorcerer teleports in, and a little risky, and especially now the Heretics going in to melee with an Apothecary right here. Apothecary could use the Purification Vials. He actually chooses not to. We're going to have something teleport, some Bloodletters teleport in. Now, are they so? Yes, they are supported by that Khorne Worship, but the Worshipping Heretics need to be very, very careful about that Dreadnought. They need to get out of there or they would get wiped by that Dreadnought. Or by, did I say? I think I meant the Space Marine Dreadnought. Here's actually a Summoning Circle from from the Sorcerer. That's a pretty good global these days, especially because it reinforces. So it'll reinforce any squads coming out of there. That being said, it doesn't appear to be that well placed. And these Bloodletters, I mean, they're damaging the Techmarine. That's mostly what they're doing right now. Distracting the Techmarine from hitting something else. This Khorne Dreadnought now suddenly in a huge amount of trouble. What happened to the Space Marine Dreadnought? Space Marine Dreadnought's just running around in somewhere else. Alright, Khorne Dreadnought looks like it's going to get out of there just fine. There's nothing actually to follow it up on, except for this Space Marine Dreadnought. Just kidding. So what other support do we have for this Dreadnought? And wow, he's actually just going to go for it. Maybe he should teleport it out of there with the Sorcerer. And did he? Yes, he did. He did, in fact, teleport it out of there with the Sorcerer. So well played. That would have been a dead Dreadnought otherwise, I think, even if he had activated Blood Rage. Meanwhile, the Force Commander's going for it, and we have a second Dreadnought out of Bashful Pwny. This is something that can both be very powerful as well as very risky. It's a lot of vehicles, a lot of vehicle hit points, so it's a lot of damage that needs to be done to vehicles. But at the same time, it's going to demand a lot of repair support. Bashful Pwny only has one Heretic squad. It's also very expensive and could keep Bashful Pwny in Tier 2 a little too long. And then those Dreadnoughts, they don't quite scale that well, I feel. They usually get countered pretty hard by Tier 3 things. Librarian goes down. I don't know. He was there, like, just did way too much stuff. We had a Lightning Claw Chaos Lord, as well as a bunch of Chaos squads that are going to do a ton of damage as well. Meanwhile, we have one fully upgraded Chaos Lord. This one is this is Icarium's Chaos Lord. A bit of a weird build. He's got the Lightning Claws, the Armor of the Inferno, and the Dark Halo. It's going to make him pretty tanky, and he's also going to do a lot of damage. However, the Dark Halo is going to take energy away, and he won't be able to use Let the Galaxy Burn if he uses all of his energy for the Dark Halo. And if he uses Let the Galaxy Burn, then he won't have as much energy shield as he could have. Might be better off with well, I don't know. Anyway, we've got double Dreadnoughts from Weekend Defender as well. His are strictly melee Dreadnoughts, whereas it looks like Bashful Pwny he chose alternate upgrades. Anyway, we've got a lot of setup teams out here. Holyoke's got both. He's got two Havocs. Again, splitting his upgrades. He's got one Las Cannon, one Auto Cannon. And the Las Cannon, despite doing roughly the same damage, I believe, as the Auto Cannon, is significantly better against vehicles. That snare actually makes a huge difference when dealing with vehicles. Icarium looks like he put out a new Havoc out on the field. Icarium has so many resources. He could do something. He could put down new generators for the Chaos team. He doesn't have much power. Instead, he's choosing to get some Plague Marines, which is a curious choice. I believe he's in Tier 3, and I believe he's the only player in Tier 3, or the only Chaos player in Tier 3, and he's choosing to get a bunch of Tier 2 stuff, unless I'm mistaken, and he's not in Tier 3, because he's getting Tier 2 stuff. Anyway, Sorcerer is here. There's so much stuff here. I also feel like this Dreadnought could be in a lot of trouble. Should Blood Rage. As long as it's chasing after a Land Raider, trying to do as much damage as it can, it should Blood Rage. The Chaos Sorcerer went down, not terribly surprisingly. And I feel like, yeah, I don't know why that Dreadnought didn't Blood Rage. It was definitely chasing long enough that it could have Blood Raged. And now is especially the time that this Dreadnought should Blood Rage, because we should see a Melt-A-Bomb go in on the Land Raider Redeemer. It has Blood Rage. This could now be really bad, except it's not targeting the Land Raider. It's targeting the Apothecary. So that's actually really, really bad. Should have Blood Raged while it was still targeting the Land Raider Redeemer. Now this Chaos Dreadnought ended up Blood Raging into a really bad position, and it ends up going down. You know, we've got an Apothecary with the armor of the Apothecarian, so we see all of that healing going on, and just all of these Space Marine squads not dying. They do get hit by Let the Galaxy Burn, but I think they can actually tank all that damage with that armor of the Apothecarian. Apothecary now out of energy, though. And wow, I feel like we just saw a bunch of models get hit by direct missile shots. Oh my god, everything dying right here. Bloodletters are down for Holyoke. So this Land Raider right here has already had some very successful engagements. Needs some repairs. Needs these scouts over here to repair. Meanwhile, these shotgun scouts in way over their heads. We should have seen some Doom Blast right there. Doom Blast definitely would have finished off those scouts. They might even still go down, and they do in fact go down. Meanwhile, we have an Apothecary right here. Are we going to see another Purification Vials? He certainly got the energy. There's certainly plenty of Heretics here. However, yeah, he should throw Purification Vials. But we do have the summoning circle again to reinforce all of these heretics as they go as they die. Apothecary does go down. There is also the Frenzied Barrage. However, the Chaos Dreadnought in a huge amount of trouble getting hit by a las cannon. It is down. And we even had a weapon switch from the Techmarine. And there goes the Land Raider Redeemer as well. Didn't even really see what that went down from, but I'm sure it was some combination of this las cannon havoc as well as the autocannon havoc. They've done their job. Anyway, we've got a plasma cannon taking shots. Yeah, that plasma cannon cannot be allowed to shoot. Pretty lucky that they didn't get hit by that plasma cannon. And now we've got the Raptors, Meltagun Raptors. You don't see this upgrade that commonly, but I believe... Well, you don't see it that commonly, but it can be pretty effective. It's just in Tier 3. Anyway, we've got some double attacks moving in, but they're under strength. I don't think this is actually a good move for them. They're going to start taking autocannon shots, and yeah, they're going to move forward to the autocannon, but then we've got a Chaos Lord right here, and the Chaos Lord is going to bleed a ton of models. Well, maybe not a ton. I don't think he even got one. If anything, it was the autocannon that killed 2 attack models here. I think even attack Sergeant. Chaos Raptors will be good for Bastion Generators just because they have Meltaguns. That being said, they've been jumped by Vanguard Veterans, and especially now that they have Meltaguns, they do not stand a chance against the Vanguard Veterans. They just need to get out of there. They need to jump out of there. Well, I guess they can just walk out of there, but they lose 2 models in the process of just walking away from the Vanguard Veterans, which is a pretty significant blow. I think they should have at least jumped out of there. We do have some Space Marine Terminators for Nicotin. This could be very, very powerful with the existing wall of tacks. We've got 4 tacks right here. That is such a tough, such a durable wall of range fire. Now, of course, the Chaos Space Marines do more damage than the tacks, but the problem is that there are just way more tacks, and you can afford to have more tacks because they are more versatile, because you can get missile launchers on them, as opposed to the Chaos Space Marines. Typically, we're only going to have 1 per player, maybe 2, but we probably won't have multiple players going for double Chaos Space Marine builds. Can really leave them open to vehicle plays. So yeah, both Dreadnoughts at this point are gone for Bashful Pwny. And I mean, I didn't expect Dreadnoughts to live the entire game. And generally, once Tier 3 comes out, Dreadnoughts are as good as they are in Tier 3, and especially those Chaos Dreadnoughts, they kind of just get countered by most Tier 3 things. Although, that being said, I'm not sure it was actually the Tier 3 things that took out the Dreadnought. I think it was actually... Well, actually... I don't remember what the Dreadnought was taken out by. You know, I think all of the vehicles were pretty much just taken out by las cannons and autocannons, so they were just taken out by setup AV. Alright, Space Marine team actually now with a significant VP lead. It looks like Chaos have really just been fighting in the middle. Here is an Imperial Abyss, and he actually pretty much just walks out of it, but now he's walking right into a wall of range fire. Some of those tacks are in trouble. That Imperial Abyss, it didn't do a whole lot, and that's sometimes part of the struggle of the Imperial Abyss. I think it only killed like a few tack models, and when I say a few, I mean like 2 or 3, which it sounds like a lot, but for spending 500 red, it isn't. Terminators really need to go. Heretics are going to get wiped, I think, but Terminators are in a huge amount of trouble right now, being chased down by Raptors and Khorne Chaos Space Marines. Khorne Chaos Space Marines are a pretty good choice for taking out ranged Terminators. They're really good at chasing them down and hunting them, and they actually do pretty well in melee with them against ranged Terminators. Do a lot of damage as well. Predator tank out for Nicotin for you, but he's got to be very, very careful. We've already got the Raptors moving in. There goes the Melt-A-Bomb, and that's probably going to be a dead Predator tank. This Predator tank did nothing. It did not like even get any kills, or did not participate in any kills. It had no experience whatsoever. It was a rookie Predator tank crew. But yeah, that really sucked for the Predator tank. And I could kind of tell that he was going in there a little too brazenly. And I mean, there were Plague Marines, there were Havocs, and there was the Raptors. And they let the Raptors get a little too close, didn't quite have enough support. So that Predator tank did not do much. Chaos team actually now about to threaten a triple cap. I don't know if these heretics are going to last on the point, but the tacks that were trying to shoot at them, or the Stern Guards rather, we're getting tied up by the Great Unclean One. Meanwhile, we've got another Terminator call-in. Here we've got Assault Terminators. They do not get knocked down by that swarm of flies. And suddenly I feel like this Great Unclean One is in a bit of trouble. There is some support here for it. It's getting hit. Here is an orbital bombardment. 2 orbital bombardments. Oh my god. 3 orbital bombardments. Oh my god. How much stuff are they going to take out with that? That was all 3 orbital bombardments. Oh my god. How much stuff did they just take out? Oh my god. That was 3 orbital bombardments back to back. Now the Space Marines need to get back out there. They need to get on the points because it's a double cap against them. Chaos Team managed to pretty much fully even out the VPs after being behind by like 100 or so. Over 100 to be honest. That was that was quite a play. And that was really good. They had the Chaos Team all bunched up. They positioned it in retreat paths, and they hit stuff with that orbital bombardment. I mean, I personally feel the orbital bombardment is not that great, and I still feel like it wasn't that great. I think something like triple rocks or triple eldritch or triple rocket run would have been even more devastating. But I think it was just amazing how well they actually pulled that off. Whether unintentionally or not, they coordinated it well. They hit like everything. Although there were a lot of things that didn't die, since I don't know, something about those beams, they just don't seem to wipe squads unless they're already really close to dying. Chaos Terminators out on the field, hit by marked target, however, are in a huge amount of trouble. They just gonna take a lot of damage from that melted Techmarine as well as these miss attacks. Sorcerer going for the point, trying to get the cap, but Vanguards jump in. I think Vanguards just straight up gonna have the advantage, except for the fact that now we have a Land Raider Phobos to back them up. Wow, Vanguard Variants taking way too much damage. Lucky to not lose a model. They finally do lose a model. And lose another one. Wow, the Vanguard Veterans. My god, they got hit so hard there. Plasma Cannon Shot goes in, knocks over these Chaos Space Marines. A second one goes in. Tax trying to follow up, do some more damage, but now the Tax in a little bit of trouble because Heretics get in. We're going to see the Stern Guards switch to Hellfire rounds, and how many Plasma Cannon Shots are going in? Double Plasma Cannon Shots. Where did this Great Unclean One even come from? How is he suddenly behind Plasma Cannon Devastators? Anyway, we've got a Whirlwind here. What is that even doing? Knocking over the Sorcerer. That's what it's doing. Chaos Lord here. This is Holyoke's Chaos Lord. He's got a different build. He's got Let the Galaxy Burn. He's got Lightning Closing. He's also got the Demonic Visage. Reduces the damage of enemy units around the Chaos Lord in a radius of 25, which actually seems pretty good. Plague Marines taking shots, and they're just right up here, right in front of the Predator. That Predator is way... Oh! Predator goes down, yeah. Predator should not be driving that close to a unit that counters it. I think Techmarine... Oh! Just got shot... Just took like 4 las cannon shots to the face. We're going to see another call in. This must be more Terminators, or is it a Venerable Dreadnought? It is, in fact, a Venerable Dreadnought. However, I feel like that is a little bit risky. He's going to need follow-up for that because that Venerable is already getting hit and getting snared. It's taking a major amount of damage from the Land Raider Phobos. It needs to do something. It's getting hit by... Man, the Venerable is already dead. I mean, the best it can do is participate in taking out this Land Raider Phobos. It needs to at least try to do that, but I think the Land Raider Phobos is just fine. That Venerable did almost nothing. I mean, it did damage, and that's it. Meanwhile, we've got some Lightning Claw Terminators. Oh my god, wiping the las cannon Devastators. These Lightning Claw Terminators, although they just wiped the squad, are in a lot of trouble and need to get the heck out of there. Let the Galaxy Burn, somehow missing on all those tax squads. I think just fell a little bit short, so no disruption whatsoever. 2 Lightning Claw Terminator models down. Here is an Imperial Abyss again, and it kills... Okay, I thought it was going to wipe that tax squad because they had gotten knocked over, and it came very, very close. And, whirlwind down for Nicotin for you. And it's weird. The Space Marines seem to have nothing. They were the one who pulled off that major nuke combo, but they still lost all their stuff, and Chaos still seems to have stuff.
Ready yourself for the brass mantle. Allied Sorcerer has been revived.
Chaos Space Marines take a full plasma cannon shot to the face. Do not lose a single model, even though they've lost 1,000 hit points. VP's now pretty even, 84 to 90, but blue team, Chaos team, about to get that double cap. Can the Space Marines do something about it? Unfortunately, double plasma cannon Devastator's not going to be able to stop a Great Unclean One. I feel like the Great Unclean One should go for a Vomit on top of that. Oh, I thought he should have gone for it on the Devastators over here that had just gotten hit by Let the Galaxy Burn. Could have been a potential wipe. Probably not, though. But, I mean, here we have more of that. Now we've got the late-game Chaos Lord pressure. I don't know. It's starting to look like this is going to go in favor of the Chaos team. They've got a double cap, about to make it a 2-0 cap. So, pretty close call. Great Unclean One, yeah. Great Unclean One in a little bit of trouble, and he actually stops capping to worship the Great Unclean One. So I think the red team should be able to put a tack squad on this VP, at least get the point, and now they've got to do something about all this stuff. Vanguard's going to jump in, disrupt the Chaos Space Marines, and I'm guessing... Oh, I thought the Stern Guards were just going to go for the point, but they just retreat. If they don't put something on the point, that's pretty much the end of the game for them. They're almost out of time. I don't think they're going to do it, because they ran away from that point. I mean, they probably would have lost going for that point, so it's pretty much do or die, and it looks like they're going to die. The best hope right now is it looks like these Terminators teleporting or just going for this VP right here, and that could also cost them their lives. And they probably wouldn't even get the full cap off. They'd probably only get the decap. That's exactly what they're doing, except they're... No, that's not what they're doing. Oh, that's it. All right, that's going to be the win in favor of the Chaos team then. They're on the point. They don't have that much time. I don't think they can... I think they're going to die going for it. I don't know if they can... I don't know if they can survive, but it's a really, really close call. Tax are here to resume it if they can do it. Decap off at 84 to 4 VPs, but I don't see how the Space Marines are going to be able to hold this VP. Sorcerer is on it, and they can't get him off, so I don't think they can do anything about that. Well, we've got a Techmarine right here. Maybe if he had Bionics, if this is another Venerable Call-In, it could knock the Sorcerer off. It does knock the Sorcerer off, but the Chaos Lord takes it over, and that's definitely going to be it. All right, and that is the win for the Chaos team. Pretty crazy game. Hope you enjoyed the cast. Have a good night.